Gentlemen, I got a interesting situation here, and I'm just gonna kind of walk you all through what happened here. So this is the last stickman box, like, ever. So before we start, let me just say that 100% of this is all going to the widow. I am not going to take a single penny from this situation, period, and nor is 394. Okay? So let's stop and talk now that I have your guys' full attention. 394 is a young gentleman that lives down the road from Stickman, and I'm not going to get into too much of the detail of their relationship, but I get this phone call and a text one day from this young kid, and he says, "Hey, I'm trying to help out Stickman's widow," and he just laid it all on the table. And he's very interested in building. He's got the passion for it. And he says, what can we do to try and get rid of some of this stuff? There was a bunch of equipment that's over there. It's like a Mobile 3000 box and a whole bunch of other stuff. And he's trying to get me to buy all of it. And I said, well, dude, I don't want to buy any of it. It's not anything that I wanted to get myself involved in, to make that clear. But I will help you in any way I can. He goes, well, there's quite a few parts that are sitting there that if I went in here, and what he's trying to do is, the Stickman's widow is, there's just a lot going on. I don't want to dump all that out in public venue, but needless to say, he's trying to help her, and he's trying to help her liquidate the equipment, and he's also trying to help her rally funds. Okay? And I said I would do the exact same thing, but I'd help him rally funds in the way that I'd help him finish this box and let him do his thing and help him do his thing. Like, hey, this guy's looking for this, go talk to him, he'll be able to buy it, kind of thing. Well, one of the projects that we worked on was this little 4-pill. The cabinet was there, the heatsink was there, the board was there, the transformers are installed, most of the wires are run, but there was no transistors in it. The keying circuit wasn't completed. There was a couple other things. Hold on a second. Sorry, I had to take that phone call. Let's see. Yeah, so this kid kind of got himself thrown into the deep end. He basically picked up this amp as mostly a completed setup, and we just had to go and fill in the details, like getting the keying circuit kind of set up, getting the pass-through tune done, and getting the input tune set, which I walked him through all of that. Now, all the other parts that are in here were already pre-done before his hands were involved. The only thing was he had to put the transistors down and just solder some small parts in it. Like, the transformers were down, they were wrapped, caps were all there. This stuff is all here. That's all Stickman OG. The remote wire was all hooked up. The power wires are for the most part run. The ground lead, from what I understand, was already down. So this is like Stickman OG. Okay. Case, he did the fan. Stickman's Vanguard kind of deal. And this is the cabinet that was at Stickman's. So this is 95% Stickman, like 4% 394, and a little bit of me on the phone. So now he goes out and he goes, okay, I've completed it. It passes all of the tests. And I mean, we're video conferencing back and forth. We're talking, blah, blah, blah. He goes and he puts it out there and he asks like $800 for this thing. It's got 4 good Toshibas in it. And boy howdy, did the ass buckets from Facebook descend upon this poor kid. They started tearing him down. They started ripping into him. You don't know nothing. That build looks like shit. How dare you? Blah, 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 blah. Well, that pissed me off. I was like, man, this kid's just trying to do a solid for Stickman's old lady, and you guys are out there taking him to the cleaners. Why should we trust you? We don't know who you are. We don't know anything about anything. You don't know. I mean, it was ugly. He called me up defeated. He sounded like he went to prom and the whole football team lined him up on the freaking corner of the football field and they took rounds punting into his groin. I mean, he was beat down. And all he's trying to do is help Stickman's old lady. Well, this pissed me off. I was like, how dare these sumbitches that don't know about anything, just because they want to sound cool and they want to, well, you know, there are people in this world that actually do get off for making other people feel bad. And I seen it in this situation right here. Now, I, myself, when I first started, had to endure all that same shit. The only difference is now, here we are a decade later, and I walk around like I got a giant baseball bat. And I don't ever use it. But I've got literally thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of examples of my work. So it's a little bit different story when the clowns start jumping up and down. So now I like this young gentleman. He's pretty cool. Me and him have developed a relationship. I said, what I want you to do is go over to Stickman's house and get this amp. And tell his wife, have faith, BBI is now personally involved. And I had him send it here. We can put it on this test bench configuration, which the whole universe is either copied or understands. And we'll test it. And if I got to make any little tiny changes to this, like input, output tune, it's about as far as I'm willing to go. Since this is 95% Stickman OG, and this being the last Stickman amp ever, I don't want to swizzle my dinger-ding in the thing too much. I just don't. Now, this upset me so bad, what happened to this poor kid, is I got on the phone with my friend Tony over at ICA. And I said, Tony, there's a kid that lives just down the way from you. And he is very, very, very much wanting to learn how to build amplifiers. Tony says, give him my number, send him this way. I said, yes, sir. 2 text messages later, 3 days after that, boom, dude's at Tony's shop and he's going to amp school. Now, where that relationship heads from here is between these 2 guys. But if you go and you decide that you're going to say that Tony at Fatboy, the owner of Fatboy, doesn't know how to build an amplifier, and you're walking around saying that you do, man, I'd hate to be you. Because it's awfully hard to get up in your own shadow and try and pretend like you're a man if that's the attitude that you want to have. This young kid has got a lot of cool things coming from him in the future. He's got my support and he's got Tony's. Now what he chooses to do with that's entirely on him. But this situation here, I was shocked, appalled, and upset. So I thought, well, let's bring it here. Let's hook it up. Let's see what it does. So let's do exactly that. It's a 1,000 watt slug and peak, 1,000 in average, a 5 watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. We're currently at 12 volts. We're going to start off with the 2950. We're going to use this 5 watt slug in reverse between the 2950. 18 feet of coax later, electrical length later. Here's the coax. A 6-foot resonant non-reactant piece of coax going to all of this mess. Gives us the exact representation of what this thing would look like working in the real world. So, let's go over here. Let's start here. Put 18 watts into it. Hello. Getting 400 watts out of it on AM with 18 watts of drive. Hello. Audio. Pulling 36 amps. Let's come up here. Let's go look at our input tune. It's a little high, but watch what happens. Hello. I'd rather have a little bit high, like a quarter watt worth of reflect, and when I modulate it drops to almost nothing, than nothing swinging forward to a quarter watt. And it's very hard to achieve. And this young man hit it spot on the button. So you guys out there that say you don't know, they don't know, suck a dick. Suck a big fat hairy dick covered in dingle dirt. And you don't know what the shit you're talking about. But we're gonna make this kid valid here in a minute. Now, here's just the radio. Hello. Picked up some power there because we've increased the voltage. Let's go up here and look at this. Now this is our pass-through tuner. Otherwise, the RF's ability to go in, pass from this connector to this connector is what we're looking at. RF comes in, moves through here, goes through all the different connections of the relay and moves out, goes out the coax connector and goes out. Has to bypass the sensor lead, all that kind of stuff. He nailed it again. Hello, 11111, hello, 111111111. Nailed it. Good job. Good job. Let's turn the amp on. Hello. Hello. 600 watts with about 25, 28 watts worth of input power. Making 600 watts. Nailed it. Good job. Okay. Now, the thing that's impressive to me is the pass-through tune. That is very hard to achieve here with the way this is built. It's not very organized, but none of Stickman boxes were. I'm not going to lie, I admire Stickman, and I've got massive respect for the guy, and I'm not talking ill about him. But some of his stuff, and you all have to admit, some of his stuff looked a little rough, but it ran like the fucking Dickens, okay? And that's the bag of wax this kid was handed. And he figured out how to use all, because this was built at Stickman's shop, at Stickman's bench with Stickman's tools. How to get all of this to match up and have RF come in, pass through, go past this cap, how to compensate for it here with this capacitor, where to place that capacitor. He figured all that out with a little bit of help over the phone. Let that sink in for a hot minute. I'm impressed. Especially with the length of inductors this long. Most of the time we'd stick the relay over here and we'd try to keep those inductors as long, as short as possible. So we have to do a lot of capacitance compensation. But he nailed it. And that's not as easy as you think. It's really not. And there's a lot of stuff that you have to think about where all the wires are going and stuff. But we didn't want to mess with it too much. Because it's OG stick, right? Thinking that there's got to be a guy out there that loves Stickman that's just going to be, oh shit, it's the last one. What the I got to own that. And it's all documentable. We're going to hit it with the Striker 955 now. So we're going to use 955 and now, let's see here, that 5-watt slug. So we're going to hit it a little harder now. Hello, 1, 2. Put about 125 watts into it. At 15 volts. Okay, pass-through tune. Hello. Kid did good. It's 8:30 at night, dude. I don't care what you want. My phone's ringing right now. I don't care what you want. I ain't answering the phone for you. Hello, audio. 1,000 watts. Hello, audio. Hello, 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 hello. Hello, 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 hello. Beautiful there. Hello, 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 hello. Half a watt. Young man, you did just fine. Hello. 1,000 peak and hello. 400 bird. At only 125 watts of drive with a derail striker. You did just fine. I'm not putting my sticker on this. I don't really care. Everybody and their brother is going to know where this came from. I'm just really bent off at some of these clowns on Facebook that they come on this poor kid's post and all he's trying to do is make it better for Stickman's wife. And their idea of trying to help the situation is they're going to talk the post down and run the kid into the ground thinking that he's going to get bullied and give it up for free. I think that's horse shit. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. And if you got a problem with me calling you chickens and cowards, you come find me at any frickin' break and we'll have a talk about it any goddamn time you're ready. Because I ain't scared. Now the rest of you guys that think this is cool like I do, I'm talking to you guys now. This thing's got to go away. She's got rent she's got to pay. She's got bills she's got to take care of. She's got shit she needs to close out. On top of that, she's probably going to end up having to move. So she's got all of this stuff sitting in her house. You might want to think about finding this kid on Facebook and reaching out to him. Because he's the keys to the kingdom of all the equipment. You did good, young man. You did good. We're going to ask $850 for this plus the ride. $850 plus taxes plus the ride. I don't want a damn penny out of this. 100% of it's going to go to her. And if you guys think that I'm bullshitting you, go ask her. First one to call me, first one to text, gets it. This is the last amplifier that was built by Stickman before he passed. And it was completed by this guy. Checked out and backed up by me. And if you have a problem with this box when you get it, you come talk to me about it because now it's got a warranty for life. Anything short of the transistors, if it fails, you come talk to me about it and I take care of it. That's it. Gentlemen, I appreciate you all and I'm sorry. This really upsets me when somebody like these idiots on Facebook, some of them decide to do what they did. It really bugs me. It's time to grow up, move on. We're not in junior high anymore. I'm vouching for it. This kid's vouching for it, and it's to help the widow. This thing's right. It might look like sin, but it runs like hell, and it's right. So otherwise, it's actual Stickman. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you. Click, click.